Haunted Mansion. What did you think?
Yes. Well, you and I saw it together.
Yes. While you're doing that, I'm gonna get a second cup of coffee.
Okay.
Tell us the story.
The story. Do we care about the story? A mother, a single mother, and her son go change their lives, move to New Orleans, buy a mansion, and decide that they're going to renovate it and make it a B&B. Or I'm sorry, a bed and breakfast, a B&B. There we go, got it. And they quickly find out that the house is haunted, and they leave the house, but everywhere they go, they are followed by ghosts, kind of these hitchhiking ghosts who've gone in their car, and they're always sent back. At which point they hire a priest, and then they hire, played by Owen Wilson, and then they hire a paranormal photographer, played by Lakeith Stanfield, and they both say no, they leave, but the ghosts make them come back. And so now, as the cast starts to build, including Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, they now have to solve the crime, figure out why are these ghosts here, why won't they be let go, and from there comes all this comedic hilarity. And so that's just the basic story of it. It's a fairly typical Disney movie, but let's just say this. Haunted Mansion, on the positive side, does two things that we've been complaining. Doesn't do two things that we've been complaining about Disney movies, and the two are: one, it's not woke. There's not a woke thing in this movie, and B, it's safe for children. And that's probably its biggest flaw, is the fact that this is supposed to be a horror movie for children. It's not that scary. It's watered down a bit. I think they could have ratcheted up a notch or two to make it legitimately scary, especially for children, but they don't do that. The other positive I'll give this movie is, if you're like me, I'm a big fan of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. This movie is based on the Disneyland ride. There is an homage to the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion that appears in the movie, but this is primarily the Disneyland one. Justin Simien, who wrote and directed the movie, he was a cast member at Disneyland. He knows the ride well. This movie is the best homage to the Disneyland Haunted Mansion you're going to get. Everything's there. The look, the feel, the infinite hallway appears many times. It feels just like the Walt Disney ride. The graveyard is just like the Disneyland ride. They hide out in the ballroom at night because that's the safest place. That is, everything that's in the Disneyland Haunted Mansion is in this movie and done well. Even a few chairs that look like the Omnimovers exist. The problem with the movie is it's boring as hell. It is boring. And I think a lot of it has to do with what I mentioned earlier. This should be a horror movie for children. It doesn't do it. It doesn't do it well. The way to execute a horror film is not. Those elements are not done here. And constantly throughout the movie, when these jump scares are supposed to happen, these creepy things are going to happen. The thing that in my mind I kept thinking was, this should have been done better. This should have been done by someone who knows horror, who knows how to play with the minds of the audience, and it just wasn't there. And then the story, I don't know what it is, but the editing, the pacing of the story is just drawn out. It's bland, and Chris and I will disagree on this. I thought the third act was better, the best thing about the movie. I started to kind of slightly enjoy the film at that point, but there was no saving it to that point. Well,
I'll say this: Haunted Mansion is not a horror movie. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah, it should have been.
I mean, it is a Disney Plus movie for children. I don't even know that children will be scared. There's nothing. There isn't one jump scare in the film. It's really made for children. And Lakeith Stanfield, I think, is completely miscast in this film.
Yeah, he's too low key. He's low. His tone is just depressed and slow in pacing.
he is a really good actor. Lakeith Stanfield. I like him a lot. What is he doing in a Disney movie? This is as Disney movie as Disney movies get. And it's awful. It's like the kind of live action Disney movies they used to make in the 70s. I look back fondly on those films, but those films were not good films.
Yeah, they weren't.
Maybe the couple of Kurt Russell ones I thought were funny.
Barely.
Pretty bad. And the effects, of course, look horribly digital. It's awful. All the stuff that is supposed to be the emotional tug at the heartstrings stuff. There's a speech in the movie. That's so bad. There's a speech in the movie involving tater tots where like, Lakeith Stanfield's character is talking about his dead wife. She was the best. And he goes on this speech and it's like a speech written by someone who has never been in a relationship. It is the dumbest thing in the movie. I'm sitting here and I remember looking at you and going like with a WTF look, like, what is this? It was so bad. I'm embarrassed that I went to see it. It's awful. It's going to tank at the box office. It's not going to be, it might creep into the top 5, but
by the way, it was sold out at my theater yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I get this one wrong. I think that Barbie and Oppenheimer are going to dominate. Well, maybe
Absolutely.
What it is people are going to the movies now and they're like, oh, Haunted Mansion. The two good things about it, I think you and I talked about this. There's two good things about the film. It's not woke at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's nothing overtly woke in the film. And it's very accurate to the ride, which I love the ride.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of my favorite rides, that and Pirates of the Caribbean, the old Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, the one where the men were chasing the whores. I love that. I love that.
The bride auction.
Yeah. The men were chasing the ladies of the night.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if I were to ever recommend this movie, it would be to someone who loved the ride and just wants to feel like they got that Disney at least got the elements of the ride right.
They made a movie that was accurate to a theme park ride. Where are we at the movies? Yeah. We need what's that dumb keyword that people are using now that is just basically another word for independent film?
Oh, decentralized.
Decentralized. It's called independent film, you morons. Decentralized.
By the way, it is
film.
better than the original Haunted Mansion movie, except this could have used Eddie Murphy.
It needed a better actor to center it. Lakeith Stanfield is a very serious actor who is very good in independent films. His roles are usually intense, and they threw him in a Disney movie, and he doesn't know how to be in a Disney movie. So I cannot recommend. I can't recommend Haunted Mansion.
Look, I'll also say the story and the direction was equally as bad. It didn't show any any expertise in directing. It was just not a well constructed story, and I don't think it was directed well either.
I would 100% agree with you. So a non-recommendation for Haunted Mansion.